Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage, where we're talking about the Punisher movies.
That's right.
And we've hit the midpoint of the trilogy.
The trilogy.
The trilogy?
Oh, yeah. These are all set in the same universe?
Yeah, sure, why not? This one came out in 2004. It stars one Thomas Jane as the titular Punisher / Frank Castle. He wants you to leave a like on this video.
He personally does.
He contacted me and he said, James, this is the only thing in the world that I want.
Is he on Cameo? Can we get that? Can we make that happen?
Let's have a look.
Okay.
Oh, fuck no.
No, he's not?
No.
We can get AOI to do it. We could do
for free.
For free, I think. Or we could just get a static photo of him and have the lips move and go, hello, I'm Thomas
Jane.
Now, James, Google says, in a nutshell, this movie is thrilling, graphic, and hateful. Would you agree with that?
Look, man.
It's long.
Yeah,
it's too long.
I thought I liked this.
Go on.
And rewatching it, God, he doesn't do a lot of the punishing. He does a lot of driving around and getting people parking tickets and moving fire hydrants and spying.
He's like a treacherous eunuch.
Yeah,
is what he is.
He really is.
Again, this one, like the last one we talked about, the one from 1989.
Yeah.
This one diverts from tradition once again. He is a soldier in this one. Like that, his origin was that he was a soldier,
but in Afghanistan as opposed to.
But the majority of his life seems to be that he was an FBI. He spent a long time deep cover as an FBI agent.
With beautiful blonde hair.
Well, in this one, he's got beautiful blonde hair and the world's longest cigarette. You see how long that cigarette was?
I don't remember.
Go back and have a look. It's so long. But he's by the start of this movie, he spent a long time masquerading as some sort of vaguely Eastern European arms dealer called Otto Krieg.
Yeah.
And the action takes off when, at the successful conclusion of this sting operation, where he is going to sell some weapons to some underworld figures, the FBI emerge from their hiding places and they place everybody under arrest. And then Frank Castle's like, it'd be a really funny idea. It would really work well and would really sell this, that I'm a big time arms dealer.
Long cigarette.
Is if you just machine gun me to death. Just then and there. This is my last one before I retire.
Yeah.
So let's blow the budget on squibs and blood bags. I know we've never done this before, and operationally this would be a nightmare. But if you could just openly machine gun me, and then hopefully one of the guys will get spooked and pull a gun, and then you can kill him then and there. And then hopefully he's the son of a big time mob boss who will want to get revenge on me.
Hopefully.
I hope so, because otherwise the movie won't happen, honestly.
Let's have fun with this one.
Let's have fun with this. I mean,
that's madness.
Just get him. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
You wouldn't.
I mean, I guess he wanted to disappear entirely, and the safest way to do that is to pretend that he's dead.
Just take your wig off.
Yeah, actually, that's Thomas Jane's real hair. I looked into it.
Wow.
I did like that.
Well, then put a wig on.
Put a wig on,
easy.
man.
But instead, it's his last case. He's put the bad guys away, and then he decides, as part of his retirement, they're gonna have the full Castle family reunion. So in this version of the tale, it isn't just his wife and kids that are killed in Central Park in front of him by the mob.
It's extended family.
Everybody,
cousins,
just his cousins,
friends of friends,
Yep.
dogs.
That's right. Yeah,
they get them all.
Roy Scheider.
Roy Scheider's in this.
Sequest DSV.
And that's all.
This says Sequest DVD, which I think is a typo, but Roy Scheider from my Sequest DVDs. Oh my God, he's there too. But James, not before his son presents him with a little present, a little retirement present.
You hate this, don't you?
I hate it so much.
Yeah.
A little symbol of his love. They're on holiday in the Bahamas or something, or at Noosa, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's like, Dad, I found you this. A little gift. It wards off evil spirits. It's a T-shirt with the Punisher logo on it.
Yeah.
And
it'll also get everybody else in your family killed, but you'll be okay.
That's right.
You'll get shot in the chest
10 times.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's right. But I hate it. There doesn't need to be a reason. Skulls are scary. You should just put the skull on.
I agree with you
just
on
get
that.
a T-shirt with the skull on it.
I like Thomas Jane as the Punisher, but I think there's a lot of melodrama in this, and it does feel very drawn out. I remember the fight where he fights the giant Popeye.
Yes.
Which is incredible. It's an incredible sequence. It might be the best thing in any film.
Well, what it's interesting you said that about melodrama, because this is based in part on a storyline called Welcome Back, Frank, written by Garth Ennis, who later went on to create The Boys, and he's done one of my favorite DC comic series, Hitman. I think he's a great writer in certain circumstances, but this
was a backhand compliment there.
This was from the Punisher Max imprint, the Marvel Max imprint, which was their grittiest and dirtiest and rudest and most violent
Dongs
and blood coming
Two
from dongs. Oh my God, you wouldn't even believe it. So it's weird that so much of this is kind of...
Yeah.
This movie doesn't really know what it wants to be. Does it want to be incredibly cruel and violent, or does it want to be kind of slapsticky? Does it want to be kind of... Does it want to be cartoony? Does it want to be,
Does spend a lot of time with John Travolta.
Yeah.
I remember this era of John Travolta's wigs.
Well, that's his character from Swordfish.
Exactly.
But he's shaved off his soul patch.
The soul patch. Not a strong villain, and you do spend a lot of time with him. This is a John Travolta movie.
Yeah.
Big time. Which can be a good thing sometimes.
Yeah, Saturday Night Fever.
Exactly. The sequel to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just quickly to get back to his family, Roy Scheider is neighbours, or was neighbours because he's passed, with director Jonathan Hensley.
So he did this just to hang out with his neighbour?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of, the director wanted $64 million for this, but he got 33, which meant he had to rewrite a lot of it.
So in the version he would love to have done, there'd be even more driving around in cars and putting even more parking tickets on cars.
No, I think they had to write around the fact that they couldn't do a bunch more action sequences.
Yeah,
That's
right,
what I think
right.
it comes down to.
Okay.
Which is ridiculous because Thomas Jane trained for 7 months with the United States Navy SEALs and gained 20 pounds of muscle.
Damn.
He's looking big, but not as big as the next Punisher we're going to talk about or the previous one.
Who I'm assuming did no working out. Did Ray Stevenson
I
do
don't
any
think
working
so.
out? He's just big. He's just got an imposing vibe.
Do you like how his dad gave him the Punisher guns? What
Yes,
about that?
I like
so
that.
you're okay with that, are you?
No.
He's like, I made these guns and I made them extra special for you.
Hey, should we use these while our family's being killed en masse by mobsters? Nah, just leave them in the case, I reckon.
Guns. Yeah. You know what I didn't like in this, but then I found out it was in the comic book? There's a moment where he does pretend torture on a guy, and I'm like, just do real torture. Again, it comes back to that thing you said of like, what is this trying to be? Is this supposed to be gritty and violent? Which sometimes it is.
And I guess he was only using fake torture on the guy because he needed that guy to do all his scheming eunuch stuff.
Yeah, well, that's actually also from a comic, Punisher Warzone #1 from 1992. So that's why that's in there. So I guess I'm like, okay, fine, I guess.
But I feel like Garth Ennis Punisher would just
kill him.
Just blow torture guy, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. At one point also, there's a moment where he's just out talking to somebody in a park and he's wearing a purple shirt and having a takeaway coffee. And then again, it's like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what's happening here.
I think maybe Thomas Jane was just getting a takeaway coffee and they're like, we've got the cameras out. We should film this.
And he's wearing his purple shirt. We love that.
His famous Punisher purple shirt.
He just tells everybody he's alive. He just turns up and goes, hello, I'm here. Don't do that.
Well, I mean, he hadn't done... Being shot a bunch of times isn't a crime.
No, it's not a crime. But don't you want people to not know that you're coming? Like, why are you sneaking around?
No, you do. That's... I mean, he's not...
part of the
He's
punishing?
not the Shadow, is he?
No,
he's
I
not
guess.
the Batman when he's sneaking around.
Yeah, but
he's
they
a guy
were,
with a bunch of guns.
They weren't afraid of him. They weren't like, oh shit, this guy's coming.
It's true. He should have done something real scary.
Yeah, they weren't bothered at all.
Yeah, should have dressed up as a ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you like the fact that Frank Castle was shot like 10 times and then he just went to that mysterious doctor guy on the island and the guy's like,
I'll fix
you'll
you
be
up.
right. Yeah, apparently,
I've got a limp. Now I don't.
yeah.
I don't have it anymore.
According to this movie, he recovered from all those gunshots in 5 months.
That's great.
You couldn't do that.
Maybe I couldn't, but the Punisher could.
I guess that's probably true. That's
he
why
has.
that's why he's the Punisher.
Yeah. But look, I want to get back to the fight that he does with Giant Popeye.
Oh yeah, sure.
The Russian, who's a comic book character. I really think this is like artistic representation at its peak. This is not a joke. I genuinely think this is the best thing that's ever happened. Maybe just ever in the world. And just the idea that, he bursts into the room. It starts with the Punisher trying to close the door on him and he punches a hole through the door. And then it's just
Looney Tunes.
Just fucking Looney Tunes, but just incredible violence. And he's just trying and it just keeps getting knocked back.
It is fun because prior in the movie we see a little montage where he sets up his living space with a bunch of hidden guns and grenades or whatever. It just all proves completely futile.
Yeah, exactly.
That is fun, yeah.
And there is a moment where you see him get thrown into the corridor and he hits the wall and it's Thomas Jane. You see him like crawling. I think it's amazing. Also, the Russian, this character makes an appearance in Deadpool and Wolverine. So, not this exact, it's Kevin Nash, who apparently Thomas Jane actually stabbed in this as well.
Oh, no.
And he was just, he said the worst part was that he was really nice about it.
Okay. Now that's obviously probably the most memorable set piece of this. How did you feel subsequent to this when the Punisher fights the other guy, Johnny Cash? Johnny Cash with a gun.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Cash with a gun and a car.
That was all right, I guess.
All right. Yeah, it was pretty good.
I mean, a good thing he got that car.
Right?
For a minute.
Good thing you had that montage where he built the
For a
super
minute.
armored car, and then he used it for a minute.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
then the guy was like, well, now you're out of car, I'm going to get you. And then the Punisher's like, yeah, but what if I had a knife that shot the blade out like a gun?
Yeah, you bought a knife to a gunfight. No, I bought a knife that shoots a knife.
That's right, it's
to
like a knife
gunfight.
gun.
How do you feel about all his little friends as well? His little family.
He's
that he
got a
makes?
bunch of little friends.
oddbods.
They're all from the comic books.
Yep.
One of whom, a name I will not repeat. You shouldn't have been able to say it then. You can't say it now. I do love the fact that one of the characters in the comics, her name is Joan the Mouse, because of how plain and nondescript she is. And in this, they're like, well, better cast Rebecca
What if she
Romaine.
was super good looking though, man?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
The Punisher would like that, or he
yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah, but anyway, but again, like in the comic books, I feel like it's pitched as like these kind of three kind of down and outs, and they're really struggling and what have you. But in this, it just feels like Friends.
Just mates hanging out.
No, but I mean Friends, the
Friends, the sitcom.
sitcom Friends.
Just friends hanging out.
They're three really big coffee cups from being friends. I feel. You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
They're trying to recruit Thomas Jane and get some more friends happening. You know?
And then, you know, the bad guys show up at the place and like, we need info on the Punisher. We're going to torture you.
Yeah, and the Punisher was just down a bit. It was down low.
He was, yeah.
But he's all right,
That's
though.
true, yeah.
He had enough energy in the tank, though, to get to the end. So he does, again, he spends a lot of the time trying to get back at John Travolta by basically turning him against his inner circle, which results in him convincing him that his right-hand man is having an affair with his wife, even though his right-hand man is actually gay, which John Travolta doesn't know, so he ends up killing both of them.
And he kills the guy's other son.
Oh, yeah, he does that as well, yeah. That's a great moment where John Travolta goes, you killed my son, and then you hear the explosion, and he goes, both of them. I think that's good.
It's actually really convenient you said you killed my son just then, because you didn't know
Right
this.
now.
But I set up like a mine.
Do you remember like Miles Dyson in Terminator 2 where he was holding
I
it was
set that
kinda
up
like that.
very similar, if you've seen that. I can imagine you have. It's a classic action movie.
Big movie, John
but,
Travolta.
But then that explosion was actually your son exploding.
Doing a big explosion.
So thank you for saying you killed
Yeah.
my son then, because then I could deliver that epic line there.
Yeah, if somebody handed me a bomb and was like, oh, see how long you can hold this up for, I'd immediately drop it.
Yeah.
Kill both of us.
Yes.
That's what I'd do.
Yeah, well, you're not a character in a movie.
I'm not
are
a
you?
character in a movie.
yeah.
Not yet. I know also, I remember you not liking this when we saw it at the movies. That's right.
Yeah.
We saw this at the movies, if you can even believe it, Mason.
That's right. This sort of thing used to be at the movies.
Yeah, that's right. You could go. There's a moment where John Travolta gets dragged, kicking and screaming through an exploding car park.
And the exploding cars make the Punisher skull.
And you hate that for
I
some
hate
reason.
that.
Why?
I don't know, man.
It's because it's for the audience and you don't like the audience?
Yeah.
You don't respect our audience?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair
yeah.
enough. But why though? Why don't you like that?
I don't know. Look, obviously it's symbolic, you know?
Yeah.
And if I looked at it in a symbolic way, I'd be like, oh, of course, it's the birth of him as the Punisher, you know.
Exactly.
His campaign.
That's what this whole thing is. You think he's going to shoot himself at the end, but he
That's
doesn't.
right. His war on crime's never going to end. But in a literal sense, I'm like, how do you have time to set that up? Wasn't he doing all those parking tickets and stuff? How do you have time to set up those literal cars to explode in that exact sequence? I know he didn't really. James.
It's a movie.
But I will not budge on this.
Maybe he had a bloke.
Maybe he had a bloke to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's some miscellaneous notes.
Okay.
It's fun that Travolta's character smokes a pipe in one scene.
Oh my God, I nearly didn't mention that. That is good. And he doesn't smoke it again. There's just one moment where he smokes a pipe.
That's an on-a-day decision. I reckon Travolta was like, what can my character do that sets him apart from other mob bosses? What if he smokes a pipe?
What if he had a cowboy hat?
What sets this guy apart from my character in Swordfish? Sammy Swordfish, master cyber hacker. Well, what if he smoked a pipe? That's perfect. And he'd have to shave his soul patch in order to smoke
For the
that
pipe.
For the pipe. There's a moment where Travolta gives his wife some diamond earrings, and it's clearly a promotion from the Harry Winston jewelry chain. And I'm like,
it's a real chain, is it?
yeah, that's a real company.
Amazing. I love
But
that.
like, you would have had to go to the head of Harry Winston, who I'm presuming is named Harry Winston, and
Yeah.
be like, hey, can you be the jeweler of choice of like a guy who has just sent a bunch of mobsters to kill an entire family, including kids and stuff? And they're like, yeah, we're Harry Winston. We don't
love
mind.
that.
We love that, actually.
Yeah.
Is this guy rich?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Where do you
then.
think we get our diamonds from?
That's right.
That's right, blood diamonds, Mason.
no!
I'm making a statement.
Well,
Diamonds, you
but-
know?
but
No,
it's a
not as
joke.
good as you think.
For legal reasons, it's a joke.
Is it?
What you've said is a joke. For legal reasons, everything we say is a joke.
I don't know why you think this is a joke. This is clearly not a joke.
I mean, nothing else we've done has been a joke. So
Speaking of not a joke, Mason, It's time for the trivia show.
Love
This
it.
is the trivia section of the show where I tell you some trivia and you have to just sit there and just drink
I don't
it
have
in.
to sit there. I can protest.
Okay, go
we'll
on
see.
then.
We'll see how good this trivia is.
Director Jonathan Hensley actually knew someone who parked illegally for 2 years in Manhattan by using the same bogus fire hydrant ploy Frank Castle uses.
Oh yeah, he had that fake fire hydrant. I forgot about
In a
that.
bag!
What? That's.
Classic The
It's.
Punisher.
I guess it's.
I bet
classic
it's
The
from an
Punisher.
issue of The
I
Punisher.
bet it is.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. But why choose that of all the moments?
Yeah.
You know what he could have done?
What?
Shot her with a gun.
I agree.
Waited till she comes out and shoot her with a gun.
Bang, gotcha.
And then call up John Travolta's character and be like, I shot her with a gun.
Yeah.
That's right.
And he goes, what? And he drops his pipe.
Yeah, drops his pipe and he's like, how am I going to get those Harry Winston earrings back if you shot her with a gun?
Speaking of, the earrings that Howard Saint gives to his wife were not props, but real Harry Winston diamonds valued at $1 million.
I knew it. I knew it.
Thomas Jane's discoloured thumbnail was a result of him slamming it in a door. It's nothing to do with the story.
Why don't you wage a war against doors then?
Yeah, you could show yourself the Doorisher.
Why don't you set a big bomb in Doors Galore?
Why do you say
The business doors galore.
We're doing too many specific Australian references
I
this year.
bet there are.
We're cutting back.
I bet there is a business in every country on God's green earth called Doors Galore because it's a simple rhyme and it's fun to say it. Say it yourself.
Doors galore.
See?
I'm having a good time.
That's right.
I have to say this: Rebecca Romaine and Ben Foster, X-Men.
Oh yeah.
Because someone will be like, "You didn't even." I fucking know. I know. I always know these things.
But do you consider that now you're pandering to that exact person?
Yeah.
So you can't win.
I can't win.
They've won.
Yeah,
You should go on an all-out war against these kind of people. You should track their IP addresses.
And then think about killing myself, but they're not because there's always more annoying people out there.
They never end, do they?
This is interesting, Mason. I want to talk about this every week because in the previous Punisher movie, we mentioned the Dolph Lundgren version kills 60 people.
Okay.
In this, he kills, I think it's around 23.
So that's way less, but when you consider ultimately he is responsible for his entire family getting killed because he did that weird theatre kid stunt at the start where he's like, squib me up. Those all count, I reckon. So if you added those up,
You reckon he's up there?
I reckon it'd be closer.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Great.
Kids count as one or just a half? I think they count as one.
Depends on the kid.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it's like getting on a ride. There's like a height restriction.
Yeah.
Box office for this, on a budget of $33 million, it made 54.7, so not a huge hit. But when it was released on DVD in September of 2004, it sold nearly 2 million copies in its first 5 days. It was a big hit on DVD.
Bad.
A sequel was planned, but nobody involved could agree on an idea. Thomas Jane did reprise his role, though, as the Punisher. I don't think I've talked about it enough in this. He's good.
I agree.
I like him. He's
I
a
think
good
he's good,
The Punisher. He's not the biggest The Punisher as mentioned, but like John Bernthal is not like a huge The Punisher.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. My favorite Punisher, I think we'll talk about maybe next week, maybe Mason. Just a rotten meat man, just making everyone have the worst time.
Is it the Pun Fisher?
Yes, that's very good.
No, but he's a real guy.
I know,
He's
so
from the
the
Spider-Ham
animal
universe.
special
He's from the
universe.
Spider-Ham
I
universe.
know that.
Yeah. He's a fish.
Yeah. So Thomas Jane actually voiced the Punisher in the 2005 video game.
Oh.
That's a bit of fun if you want to check it out. And of course, there is a quasi-direct sequel, which I guess for licensing purposes can't specifically be called The Punisher, starring Thomas Jane, called Dirty Laundry, which is a much more comic accurate and brutal version of that character. It's on YouTube. It's just
For now.
yeah, it's well worth checking out if you like The Punisher or this movie.
So yeah, James, I think I've made my opinion on this movie pretty clear. It's okay.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, the joy of the Punisher is that he's gone way too far.
Yep.
And he's using these military tactics against the mob. Like you said, he should have killed up a bunch more people.
Yep.
So many more people.
And I also like, and again, we'll talk about it next week, that everybody hates the Punisher. Like good guys, bad guys. Whenever he turns up, everyone's like, oh, this fucking guy. Oh, this is going to be awful.
Yeah.
No matter what's happening.
Hey, Frank, could you use rubber bullets this time? No. I'm going to use extra pointy bullets just because you said that. Spider-Man.
Anyways, we are going to come back next week to talk about Punisher Warzone.
That's right.
Another reboot in this franchise.
I would say criminally underseen.
Absolutely. You can actually see that early if you head over to bigsandwich.co, where in addition to that, we do a bunch of stuff. We do video game Let's Plays. We're going to be looking at the Punisher side-scrolling action-adventure game, which also stars Nick Fury.
Yeah. And if we get enough Big Sandwich subscriptions, we're going to engage in a two-man war against crime.
Correct.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we do movie commentaries, we do bonus podcasts, Also, our podcast, The Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows, that comes out there early on Sunday as opposed to Monday. But if you don't want to check that out, we talk the movie or TV show of the week and all the big entertainment news, aren't we?
That's right. I mean, Daredevil Born Again.
That's right.
Is out now.
Punisher makes a return in that.
That's right. We'll talk about that.
Yep.
Talk about how many guys he shoots.
That's got its own YouTube channel. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple. It's on all of them.
Is he finally going to fire that minigun?
Do it!
It was in all the promos. Remember that?
Do it, the Punisher.
He's just wandering around with it. You see it? There's a big establishing shot. It's on a big pile of money or something. He's
I
like,
remember.
that looks pretty cool. I'll use that one day. No, you won't, you liar.
He's a big liar.
Yeah. I'd rather he shot Daredevil with it. I hope he shoots Daredevil
Wow.
with it. Yeah.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.